Good talk, man. That's a wild take. Yeah, we're done, dude. We're done. That's it. That's it. Y'all lost the argument. That's amazing. Holy crap.
I think that
Holy crap. You guys are saying that if a 15-year-old got sexually assaulted, that they have to have that child. You're a psycho, dude. Oh my god.
I think that you gotta be
Oh my god. Oh.
Liberal lunatic First Amender completely spurgs out and rage quits when I call into his show and completely own him on a debate about abortion. So I'm not going to be doing the usual where I cut in intermittently through the video like I usually do. I'm going to save all my thoughts at the end of this video. So without further ado, here is me debating First Amender on his show.
Yeah, so treating alternate life is wild. Wow, yeah, that's yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask a question of First Amender, but first I have to know this. First Amender, what do you like? Do you agree that sometimes in self-defense, someone might have to take someone else's life?
In self-defense, someone might have to take. Yes.
Okay, so should we make legal? Should we make murder just legal across the board then? Because there might be some situations where you might have to take someone's life because, you know, they might take yours.
No.
Well, why not?
Well, because by the baking into your definition, you said that murder, which is an unjustified killing, and so baked in, it's already unjust. You know what I mean?
First Amender, stop. Get out the legalese. Like, you know what I'm saying, though.
I'm applying the definition of a particular word that wasn't legalese. You said a word, and so obviously I would say it is wrong because it is baked into the no, that's
it is
what you argued, and I'm clarifying why.
Okay. And no, not murder, then kill, whatever. What you know what I'm talking
about. So rephrase your question.
Lives legal.
So rephrase your question. Instead of saying the word murder, say kill. Go ahead.
Okay, then kill. Okay. Should we just make killing legal then across the board just because there might be sometimes you might have to kill someone in self-defense?
No.
Okay, why?
Because there's just killing and unjust killing.
Okay, explain.
Well, like if your life is at stake, you would be justified in killing somebody because your life is at stake.
Okay, so are you just then therefore okay with abortions only if it's the risk to the mother's life then?
No, I'm okay with abortions. Period.
Okay, well, why?
Because I believe that it is something that a mother has to undergo, and it can often be life-threatening. It also permanently changes the body. I just think that the mother's bodily autonomy supersedes the developing fetus. I don't consider a fetus to be at the same level as a human.
So that's what it boils down to. You don't see fetuses as human lives. You just see them as these,
it is a human life. The question is whether or not it's worthy of moral consideration.
So
and I don't consider it to be a parasite either. It just depends on how much someone cares about it.
So it's only a worthy life if someone cares about it.
Yes.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's literally how we care about lives. Yeah, in order for you to care about lives, someone has to care about it. That's literally how that works. Yeah.
So if there's a random homeless person, on the street that has no family, no one cares about them, they're just on the street, it should be okay to murder that person then because no one cares about them.
No, because that's an unjust killing.
What does it matter if it's just or not? No one cares about him. I thought that was the metric.
No, I'm saying that a person has to undergo that risk. That's my main concern. Is that I place the mother of the life of the mother way above the fetus.
Yeah, but to you, life.
Right. I think it ought to be up to the mother to decide whether or not that's what they want to undergo.
Yes, I understand that. But the thing is that to you, life altering, what's something that's a danger to the mother is them getting a bunch of belly fat they can't use and also stretch marks.
No, it's a little more than that. A little more than that.
Dude, like I said, dude, I have a
All right.
wife who's got pregnancies. It's not
Women
just
get
like
pelvic
it's
floor
not something
damage,
that's
right?
worth.
It leads to long-term issues like urinary or fecal incontinence. They have abdominal muscle separation. It often
Bro.
persists and it leads to core weakness or back pain for the rest of their life. It also leads to chronic
Mr.
back
Correct,
pain.
yeah.
There's changes in posture, weight, musculoskeletal strain during pregnancy. There are breast
You could say that
changes
again.
and not for the better. The size, the shape, and the firmness are permanently changed due to hormonal shifts due to breastfeeding. There is waist retention. Many people struggle to return to pre-pregnancy weight. There is vaginal and perineal trauma, especially from the tearing and episiotomy during childbirth. There are hormonal imbalances. There are long-term thyroid and menstrual cycle irregularities. There are dental problems. Pregnancy increases the risk of gum disease as well as tooth loss. There are changes in the foot size and structure, which is permanent due to ligament loosening. There are mental health challenges. There are postpartum depression as well as anxiety, which can persist forever. All of these things are things that are negative towards the mother that persist past pregnancy. And I just believe that if a mother wants to undergo that, they can, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's wonderful. I hope everything goes well for your baby. I just think if someone doesn't want to go over with that, that ought be up to the mother, not a politician 100 to 1,000 miles away. Simple.
Oh, geez, you really changed my mind there. I mean, the way that you made it sound, we should be preventing women from getting pregnant. I mean, it sounds like it's really dangerous.
But to be fair,
It
I do
can
agree
be.
with First Amendment that like we don't need to diminish the extreme struggle. I'm being sincere here. We don't need to diminish the extreme struggle that women go through during pregnancy in order to make a pro-life case. I do think that it's we have to empathize with that in order to really understand what people are going
No,
through. To have a
here's
good
the
conversation.
thing. I do empathize with that. Like I said, my wife still has back pains from her first pregnancy. Her second pregnancy was a little difficult, especially because she was older. It was considered a geriatric pregnancy. Same with my third. So don't get me twisted that I don't understand what women go through. I've witnessed it firsthand. Okay, but the thing
Take an
is,
epidural?
but what you're saying, the epidural, yeah, the back pain from the epidural.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So what I'm saying though is that what First Amendment is saying is therefore it should be okay to terminate an unborn life because he doesn't even really consider it a life. No, you know what I mean? And we
I
should
never
do
said
that.
He
that.
says it's less value.
I never
He says
said
it's less
that.
value.
I didn't
He says it's
say
less valuable.
I didn't
He said
say
it's
that a
less
fetus isn't a
valuable.
life. I said that it is not worthy of moral consideration. It is up to the
Okay.
mother to make the
All right.
decision as to whether or not it's up to moral consideration. That's what I
Okay,
believe.
I
Thinks
understand.
there's
Okay.
life on another
Societally,
planet.
though,
sorry.
I don't believe it is up to your moral consideration to force them to undergo that pregnancy.
It's not just a moral. It's taking a life. That's what it is.
I,
And it's
yeah,
not
to
just
you,
a-
to you, it is. But you're
First
not the one
Amendment-
undergoing the
You too.
pregnancy.
I thought it was to you too.
No,
Didn't you say it's just
no,
to you
no,
too?
because
No, it's
because
not
if it
to
was
be in
my
that
if it was
situation.
my decision, I would leave it up to the mother to decide that. Not
Whether
you
it's a
or
life
a
or not?
politician or a Supreme Court representative 100 to 1,000 miles away, which, let's face it, they're not going to be caring for that child, ever. They're never even going to see that
Supreme Court
child.
deals with human rights. The Supreme Court deals with human rights. It's their job. It's not the job of my doctor or me to deal with human rights or make objective statements about human
What
rights.
I think it is, if things regarding a person's health, as well as their decision as to whether or not they have a child, that should be up to a doctor and the mother, not up to a Supreme Court rep. Right? A Supreme Court rep doesn't know crap about the mother. They don't know anything about that stuff. They just know the legal
maybe they can learn
understanding.
from the
That's it.
Take away from the Supreme Court, dude. Just focus on
But
whether
that's
or not it's
what
this is
no,
worth
but
taking
that's the
life.
problem. That's the problem. Because the pro-life position is not,
Mm-mm,
well,
no.
we care about human life. Ultimately, what it comes down to is it shouldn't be up to the mother to decide. It should be up to a politician or a Supreme Court rep 100 to 1,000 miles away. That's the argument, right? Because that's
they
what
deal
they're
with human
actually
rights.
arguing, right? Because if it was
The
a,
Supreme
like,
Court
because here's the
deals with
thing,
human
right? You can uphold a pro-life position, but still be pro-choice.
I am a
Did you know
mender.
that? You have the
I'm
ability.
a mender.
I'm kicking you out of here if you do that.
Come on, Poon, lock in.
So,
He's
So-
locked into this.
so I'm
dick.
telling
He
you
fucked
that
me over, Amender.
I am telling you that if you're personally pro-life, then go be pro-life. There's nothing wrong with that. You can get, if a woman is staunchly pro-life, go be pro-life. You don't have to have a pregnancy. You don't have to have an abortion. But someone who is not pro-life, they can decide, I don't want to do that. Right? So if you want to force the woman to undergo that pregnancy, then yes, ultimately your argument is it should be up to a politician or a Supreme Court representative 100 to 1,000 miles away. That's why I say it that way, because that's what it is.
We have a moral obligation as a modern democratic society to protect other
Really? Do you think that we
beings.
ought to have food stamps?
Wait. Do we have anti-murder laws?
We sure do.
Exactly.
So let me ask.
Exactly.
So
So that's-
no. I'm just curious, right? Because human life matters, right? Ought we have food stamps?
We do have food stamps.
Yeah.
No. I'm asking you. Ought we have food stamps? I'm not saying do we have food stamps. I'm saying ought we have food stamps?
What
Yes
does
or
that have
no?
to do with murdering an unborn
level-
baby?
yeah.
No,
probably,
because
yeah,
because
hell yeah.
because if you're talking about a human life and a human life
about human
matters,
rights, yeah.
stop. If you're talking about a human life and that a human life matters, then obviously I would assume that you would care about that human life all the way to the end, right?
So
So-
because I wouldn't want to murder an unborn baby, then therefore I don't agree or I do agree with food stamps.
Yeah, well, in order to be consistent, yeah. Yeah.
So
Yes,
I
so
have
at the
to
local
therefore
level,
just
sure,
take
yes,
care.
yeah.
So I have to take care of everybody in order to be
Yeah.
consistent with pro-life.
Yeah.
That does not make any sense. That doesn't
Yeah,
make
it
any
does.
sense.
He wants us to prove our consistency.
No,
It
it doesn't.
does. In order to be consistent in your worldview that you ultimately care about life, and it's not about control. It can't be about control. There's no way it's about
What?
control. It's got to be in favor of the human life. Therefore, you'd be in favor of food stamps because that's ultimately protecting
any
human
local
life.
safety net-
So, are you in favor of food stamps? Yes or no?
Yes, any local safety net that deals
Yeah.
with human life as an immediate
Yeah,
issue.
sure.
Yes, that's a human rights issue. Yes.
Sick.
If it deals with human
Based.
life as an immediate
Based.
issue. Yes. There we go.
What
But
about
that doesn't
Pell-
mean food stamps as a policy. It could mean a different policy. Let's be honest. It doesn't have to be that.
What about
particular
education?
One, as
Yeah.
long as it deals with human life.
Do you
See,
think that we
oh my
ought
gosh,
to be
let's
compelled
honest.
to
Okay,
education?
he's going into his left. He's going to his talking points, and I don't see again how this fits into whether or not you should.
Oh, it
murder an
does. It
unborn.
fits perfectly. That's what's
No,
amazing
only
about this,
because
right?
you're still
Because
allowed
like,
to you,
because
it
like
does, but it
ultimately
does.
every single time that I have a discussion like this with like a bunch of right wingers, what
You end up
happens
splitting
is that
out.
they argue a basis of retribution. They often like to use the idea of like punishing somebody because they did a bad thing in the past,
Punishing-
and
having a
so
kid is
we should
punishing
get
someone.
revenge on the mother
Revenge?
because that they decided. No, yeah, it's what happens every time, man. It's the cocaine of the right wingers every single time.
Well,
Every time.
Well, who said it's?
I'm glad
who
that you're
said
willing
it's
to at
revenge
least
and
acknowledge
retribution?
that we ought to have food stamps. So I appreciate that. At least
Okay,
you're
but-
consistent in that aspect.
Unless there's
Okay.
a better policy that has more freedom and more life in the process, yes, absolutely. Now look, we also start up private charities for single moms. The same pro-lifers you say are so heartless. Like it's just a nonsense argument. Like nobody.
It's really not.
Well, no, he has this like warped view of like right wingers and such, and that's where this
It's
is
not
all
a work
stemming
view.
from.
It's
it
unironically
is pretty-
what it is.
I've seen some of first
Right?
I've seen
How
a
many
few
of these
stuff,
fucking right wingers
and-
sit there all day long
Yeah, see,
and,
there you
and,
go.
and fight against abortion,
See?
and then at the same time want to get rid of food stamps? It's and school lunches for that matter. It's ridiculous.
Well,
Right?
then-
Obviously,
but
they
then-
don't care about a human
well, then
life.
I
They
got
just care.
logic.
They just want that the mother to be
Then I
a
could
baby
switch that around
factory
for
and
some
force
other- for
women.
some other- I could.
It is.
Sure.
I'm not
Yeah,
wrong.
First
I'm not
Amender.
wrong in that argument.
Yeah, sure. First Amender, then I could switch that around and say, well, since you're pro food stamps, you don't really care about lives because you don't care about unborn babies.
Well, no, because
how
it
that
ultimately comes down to the mother to decide,
value
and if
that
they
one.
want to have children, they can have children. I'm not the one forcing people to have
You-
children. It's you that wants to force people to have children.
No, it's forcing people to have children, dude. People can make their own choices. Like if you want to
Oh,
have
that's a
child,
pro-choice
you don't have to
argument.
have
Look at
sex.
you. Wait, he was pro-choice
Yeah.
all along. We did it.
Yeah,
Pro-choice
listen,
prior to
you don't have to
consent,
have
we all are.
sex. You don't have to have promiscuous sex and
See,
risk getting pregnant.
dude, guys, I called it. Did I or did I not call it? That it's always about retribution. And they sat there and I
said
told
about
them
retribution?
the trap that existed. And then
Freaking
there
out,
they
freaking
were
out, man.
with saying, listen, because they had sex, Therefore, they need to oversee the consequences of having sex every time, dude. Every freaking time. Dude, I showed them the trap. They still walked into it. It's amazing. Amazing. Yeah, let's punish sex, everybody. Let's punish them. Oh my God, it's so gross. Yeah, let's use children. Let's use children as a way to punish people. Yeah, smart.
No, you're the one who's saying that. I
All right.
don't have children as a punishment.
All right, let's try it this way. Hey, cool. I want to try this. Let's see how far this goes. Okay. A 15-year-old. Would you say is a 15-year-old a reasoning individual?
Not fully.
I would say not. Right? They're not a reasoning individual, right?
Wait, if they don't have any reason, what do you mean by they?
So let's say, for example, that the 15-year-old has been sexually assaulted, right? They've been SA'd. Okay, if they've been SA'd, hold on, no, stop. If they've been SA'd, right?
You're for
right?
abortion no matter what.
Ought they be able? I'm just curious. Ought they be able to get an abortion now that they're pregnant?
Yes.
If they were SA'd, no.
That's a reasonable.
All right.
use.
All right. Good talk. That's a good talk, man. That's a wild take. Yeah, we're done, dude. We're done. That's it. That's it. Y'all lost the argument. That's amazing. Holy crap. Holy crap. You guys are saying that if a 15-year-old got sexually assaulted, that they have to have that child. You're a psycho, dude. Oh my God.
I think that you gotta be.
Oh my God. Oh. Could someone call in? Call in, please. Like, please. Bruh, these right wingers. I can't be the only one, right? Like, am I crazy? Am I the psycho? Like, bruh. Why would you be okay with that? Holy crap. You can't make this stuff up, dude. You could just get them, you could just walk them to the trap, show them the trap, and then they walk right into the trap. It's insane. Like we're all sensible here, right? Like, they're not a reasoning individual. They get SA'd. Yeah, they should probably have a choice as to whether or not that they ought to have that child. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. This is totally ridiculous. We all agree with that, right? We're not like psychopathic people, right? Like we have some semblance of empathy towards other people, right? I love how they look at me as the unempathetic person, and then when I bring up this insane example, they bite the bullet. Guys, we gotta, like, this is insane. Someone call in. I don't know. What do you guys think? Hopefully you guys are on my side here, because that is wild. Whew. My goodness.
So I wanted to make sure I left in the cope session right there with First Amender after he muted me. Like I was talking, and then I realized, oh, like we were all talking, everyone spurted out at that moment. And then I realized, like, oh, he's just talking now and I can't hear him, so he muted us. If he's so right, why did he have to mute us? He's like, oh my God, that's insane. Someone that got SA'd, you don't think they should still murder their unborn baby? What? What? Like, to him, that's insane for some reason, even though if you were to listen to our point of view, which he didn't want to because he was getting challenged and schooled, what's it called? I think in that situation with SA'd, there are two victims. The mother and the unborn child. The mother did not ask for that, but neither did the unborn child. So why should we then therefore be like, well, we could just get rid of the unborn child, then case closed? Like, just because it's a product of something horrible, just because that child was created from an awful and horrible and grotesque situation, doesn't mean that that life is therefore any less valuable. I wanted to talk about the whole notion about, like, You know, he wants to bring up how the health effects of the mother and that the mother's in danger and blah blah blah. But I don't. He again, like all these lefties, like they hide behind SA and they hide behind if the life of the mother's in danger. But First Amender himself believes. But First Amender himself believes that you should be able to terminate an unborn child's life no matter what. Like, no matter what the mother wants to do. Even if the mother wanted to go in there and be like, I don't want this kid. You know, I can't afford it. I can't this or that. Or I just don't want children right now. That's all fine under First Amender's logic. That's with his principles. That's all fine. It all falls under the, it's okay, it should be up to the mother bucket. So I don't know why he hides behind SA. That's why I brought up the should we allow killing for any reason, because there are some times where you might need it as self-defense. And he himself said no, because it's just like that. Like, why are we allowing the unaliving of unborn babies? Why are we allowing that? Because there might be some very few instances where the life of the mother might be at risk. It makes no sense. Now, from what I've seen of First Amender, it all stems down to he just thinks he has this worldview of Christians, Republicans, or what have you, that we just want to control women's bodies. He said it himself during this debate. He said he thinks we just want to control women's bodies. Obviously, that could just be debunked, because then if it was just about women controlling their own bodies, like if it was just that we didn't want women to have control of their bodies, then why wouldn't we say, well, it's okay if men were to kill unborn babies? If a man didn't want the baby and punched the woman in the stomach, or gave the woman something that caused a miscarriage or something, that's perfectly fine. Why aren't we arguing for that then? Why aren't we saying, oh, well, that's okay? Why are we saying, no, that's wrong? And also when the mother wants to do it, it's wrong. It makes no sense. So First Amender saw the last video I did of him, and he left me a challenge in the comment section. He wants to debate me. So I'm willing to debate him again. I tried DMing him on X, but I don't know how often he checks those messages. I don't know how to get a hold of him. So First Amender, if you're watching this, message me on X. If you really want to do this, I would actually love to have a debate with you on transgenderism, because there's arguments that you make that I don't think makes any sense. So if you really want to have a debate, that's where you could reach me. What did everybody else think of this? Sound off in the comment section below. Give this video a like if you liked it. That'll be helping me out a lot. If you really liked it, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate it. If you want to see more First Amenders spurging out and getting owned in debates, and if you just like seeing debates in general, I have a whole channel for you full of content that I think you'll enjoy.